current VPM. With that said, I'd like to introduce and welcome our Toastmaster of the day this evening. Please give her a round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. It is my pleasure to serve as your Toastmaster of the day. As already highlighted, our theme today is the power of consistency. Success is rarely built in a single moment. It is built through the choices we make each and every single day. The decision to show up, to learn, to improve, and to keep things going, even when progress seems very slow. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, once reminded us that every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. Every speech delivered tonight, every evaluation given, and every role performed is another vote towards becoming a better communicator and a better leader. Whether you are delivering your first speech or your 15th, remember that confidence isn't built overnight. It is built consistently. Welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. May I invite everyone to raise their glass or their cup as we give the toast of the day. To consistency, may we remain committed to growth, steadfast in our pursuit of excellence, and courageous enough to keep showing up. To consistency, cheers. Our meeting would not be possible without our dedicated role players. I'll call our role players up so that they can just explain what their roles for tonight will be. I'll start off with the R and counter. Please come to the virtual stage.
Good evening. Once again, I come back as the role of an counter. As an counter this evening, my role is to take note of the filler words that we tend to use during our speech. This can be words like so, and any extended use of the words. So I'll be looking out for those filler words and taking note of them, and I will give my final report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Palesa. I'll now call up our hack master, Tumelo Mapalala.
Good evening, Gaborone Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, and guests. Tonight, I will be serving as your Hawk Master. The word hawk is an old English word for listen. So during this segment, I'll be inviting you all to unmute your mics and participate in a quiz session of sorts to demonstrate that indeed you were listening. Please do indulge me when the time comes. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Tumelo. I'll now call upon our grammarian, Hasina Hamdani.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Today, I am serving a role of grammarian. As a grammarian, I have a role to check for your strong vocabulary, vivid expressions, and rhetorical devices. My purpose is to elevate our English language use in our daily life also. The second role I have is to introduce the word of the day, and word of the day is veracity. Veracity, it is a Latin word, and the root word is the same for word, our verifying and verdict and vary. They are all the same root word, and it means the the consistent honesty, truth, and integrity. There are few nuance difference. So veracity means consistently speaking truth. The truth which is actually a truth not confused with the memory. I mean, it should be 100% truth, but only truth. It should be the only truth and consistent truth. That is veracity. And I encourage everyone who come on the stage to use this word veracity. It is a noun, and you can use also its adverb and adjectives like veracious, sorry, veris, veracitious, sorry, I for veraciously and veris. Okay, let us, I'll come back to you on that. Okay, so back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Hasina. Now moving on to our general evaluator, I'll now call upon Leah Musunga.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a general evaluator, my role is to evaluate the meeting from the beginning and to the end, and also to share the evaluation session, that is the feedback session for the evening, and also to provide a report on how the meeting was run. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Leah. Now moving on to our last role, being our timer, I'll call back Tumelo Mapalala.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. I will also be serving as your timer. At Toastmasters, we say that if we cannot measure it, we cannot manage it, which is why we keep time. We would like to start on time and end on time. Tonight's meetings or tonight's program shows that we have icebreaker speeches as well as the typical 5 to 7 minute speeches. So when I begin timing, my background will change as follows. I will start this timer, just that timer background. But for the icebreaker speeches, at 4 minutes, I will show the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I will display the red card, indicating that you have 30 seconds to wrap up. For our typical 5 to 7 minute speeches, I will begin at this background. At 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will show the red card, showing that you have 30 seconds to wrap up. I will also time our evaluation segment of the night. When I begin timing, similarly, I will start on this clear background. But at 2 minutes, I will show the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll show the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will show the red card, as evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes long. I will also help keep the meeting on time by timing other segments such as the Hawk Master segment, which will run for 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will I'll show the green card to indicate that the session can continue. At 2 minutes 30, the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, I'll show the red card to signal that the session should be coming to an end. I'll deliver my report when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day, as well as the general evaluator. I will also keep my hand raised throughout the meeting so that I am the first frame that you see on the list of attendees. Please do not, this is for the Toastmaster of the day, do not assume I have something to say. It's just to make sure I am visible to all speakers. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Tumelo. It is now time for our prepared speeches. To introduce our first speaker, may I invite Tepo Mahoe to come to the virtual stage and introduce our first speaker of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. I thought I was introducing the second speaker, but let me just get on with it. Our first speaker, Malaki Kereditse, will be doing the icebreaker speech. So in this meeting, the member is expected to introduce themselves to the club and then learn the basic structure of a speech. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
It seems Malaki is not on the call, Tepo, so please kindly just go ahead and introduce Semi Malapela as the first speaker for tonight. Apologies.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Semi Malapela is also doing the icebreaker speech. So he's expected to introduce himself to the club and also show learning of the basic structure of a speech. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tepo. From the background to the front by Semi Malapela. Semi Malapela, from the background to the front.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our lovely guests. For 36 years, I've been the most comfortable person in the room, as long as I wasn't standing in front of it. My name is Semi Malapela. By profession, I'm an accountant. I'm a man most of the time, surrounded by numbers, spreadsheets, and quite the satisfaction of the balance ledger. In accounting, precision is everything. You check your work twice, you stay in your lane, and the best outcome is the one where nothing surprises you. For most of my life, I applied the philosophy to myself. You see, I've always been what you might call the strong number two. In every team I ever been part of, I was the reliable one. The one behind the scenes making things work, supporting the leader, encouraging the leader, doing everything the leader needed, but never being the leader myself. Not because I lacked the ability, but because I convinced myself I lacked the appetite for it. I felt safe back there, comfortable. No spotlight, no pressure, no risk of failing in front of everyone. But here's what I have learned about comfort zones. They do not grow you. They just keep you exactly where you are. This year, I made a decision, a scary one. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, Semi, what are you actually afraid of? The answer was simple, being seen. Then I asked myself a second question, what am I missing by staying invisible? That answer was even simpler, everything. So I picked up the phone, I reached out to Toastmasters. And today, I'm standing right here at the front of the room, doing the very thing that used to terrify me the most. I'm not here just to learn how to speak. I'm here to learn how to lead. To go from number two to number one, not by pushing anyone else down, but finally stepping up. They say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So, ladies and gentlemen, this speech is my first step. My name is Semi Malapela, and I'm just getting started. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sami. Now to introduce our next speaker, I would like to call upon Palesa Makhato.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. You're going to be seeing me on the virtual stage quite a lot this evening. I have the pleasure of evaluating Olamurinda this evening. And the purpose of Olamurinda's speech tonight is to practice using vocal variety and body language. He will be using vocal variety to enhance his speech. I look forward to hearing his speech tonight. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Balesa. Something after perfection, nothing to show for it. Ola Murinda. Ola Murinda, something after perfection, nothing to show for it.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I don't know if, how is my camera that side?
Your head is cut off.
How about now?
Move back some
Please
more.
remove autofocus. Remove autofocus.
Where is it? Okay.
Just move back a bit. Yeah, much better.
Much better.
Yes,
My hands, can you see my hands?
you need to lift them a bit more.
I'm sorry about that. Mapalala, where do I turn off that?
Can you see video, your icon for video?
Yes.
On that you will see auto frame my video. Is that on blue or black?
Yeah, it was on blue.
So do it on black.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. It was a sunny day, but by the time I got home, the sun was setting. I opened the gate after a long, busy day, and there she was, my little niece. The moment she saw me, she started running towards me and shouting, "Uncle, uncle, uncle." At that moment, I forgot how tired I was. I picked her up and I started running. Okay. It was a sunny day, but by the time I got home, the sun was setting. I opened the gate after a long, busy day, and there she was, my little niece. The moment she saw me, she started running towards me and shouting, "Uncle, uncle, uncle, uncle." At that moment, I forgot how tired I was. I started running towards her too, trying to match her excitement. I picked her up, and usually this is the part where I usually ask her, "How was your day?" But before I could say one word, she was already telling me about everything. Her day was great. Her school was great. Her friends were great. And as always, she came back home excited about one thing: homework. Not games, not cartoons, not snacks, but homework. Her homework that day was to make a paper artifact, something creative, something beautiful, something she could proudly take to school the next morning. Immediately, I thought to myself, I know exactly what I'm going to make for her: an origami sweater. a small paper bed, elegant, graceful, calm, a symbol of beauty and purity. To me, it's something that matched her personality perfectly. So I sat down and I started folding. The first frame came out nicely, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, then the sixth, then the seventh. But each one had something wrong. One wing was uneven, one head was too short, one body looked strange, one just did not feel perfect. So I threw them away, one by one, into the dustbin. Because in my mind, if it is not perfect, then it is not good enough. By then, I was tired. My fingers were tired. My eyes were tired. My mind was tired. But my little niece needed something to take to school the next morning. I wanted to make one more, just one more, the perfect one. But I had no energy left. So I thought to myself, I'll rest for a moment. And that moment became sleep. The next morning came. My little niece went to school with nothing. No string, no paper artifact, nothing to show. I looked into her eyes, and all I could see was disappointment. Not anger, just disappointment. The kind of disappointment that quietly asks, "Uncle, what happened?" And the painful truth is this: I had made something. In fact, I had made many things. But because I was chasing perfection, I gave her nothing. That day taught me a lesson. Sometimes perfection does not produce excellence. Sometimes perfection produces pressure. Sometimes perfection produces delay. Sometimes perfection produces nothing. The imperfect strain inside the dustbin would have meant more to her than the perfect strain that never existed. So I remind myself, be reliable. So I remind myself, be reliable. Do not wait for progress to be perfect. Do not keep people waiting for your effort just because you are chasing an impossible standard. Honestly, sometimes what people need from us is not perfection. They simply need us to show up truthfully with something. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Over to you.
Thank you for that speech, Ola. I'd like to so that she can introduce the speaker to us. Tumelo Mapalala, please come through to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of evaluating Tandiwe Letsulo as she pursues the Level 1, Project 3, Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Language. Tandiwe has spent time noting and just observing both her intentional and unintentional body language, as well as learning how to incorporate vocal variety to improve or enhance a speech. Tonight, I will look out for just that, both intentional and unintentional body language, and the use of vocal variety by way of tone, pitch, volume, and speed. I wish you all the best, Tandiwe.
Thank you, Dumelo. When Preparation Meets the Unexpected by Tandiwe Letsholo. Tandiwe Letsholo, When Preparation Meets the Unexpected.
Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, Toasties, and fellow distinguished guests. There are moments in life that you never forget, not because they lasted a long time, but because of how they made you feel. One of those moments happened on a road between Nata and Kasane. My family had recently been transferred from Silibe Pikwe to Kasane, so traveling that route had become quite normal for us. On this particular trip, though, it was just my dad, my younger sister, and I driving back to Kasane. The drive was going well. We were chatting, enjoying the scenery, and looking forward to getting back home. But then our car broke down, just like that, out of the blue. My dad got out of the car and started signaling or flagging for help from passing vehicles, whilst my sister and I stayed inside. At first, I wasn't worried. But then I happened to look outside the window. Something was moving in the distance. I couldn't quite figure it out. I even had to squint to kind of get what that was. Then I realized it was an elephant. A huge elephant. And for that matter, it was walking towards our direction. I did what any sensible person would do. I shouted, "Papa, tsena mo koloing," to say, "Dad, get back in the car." Now, what's funny is that the three of us had reacted completely differently. My dad was calm, practical. I mean, at the end of the day, he focused on getting us help. But I couldn't help but notice that as that elephant approached, my dad took a few steps closer to the car. And as it kept on continuing, he took 3 more steps closer and closer until he decided that, flagging down the cars could wait. He got back into the car with us. That's how serious it was. And as for me, I was terrified. I had imagined every worst case scenario in my head. What if this elephant charges? Will we ever get back home? Then there was my sister. There she was, completely unbothered, taking selfies at the time, scrolling through her phone endlessly, and probably dealing with life's biggest problems, whilst an actual elephant was walking towards us. To this day, I still wonder what it was that was so important. Thankfully, before anything happened, another vehicle stopped to help us. And I'd like to assure you the veracity of the story when I say the elephant turned and continued on its way. Our car got the help it needed, and we made it safely back home. Looking back, we laugh about that day. But deeply and really, when I reflect back, that experience proved to me the veracity of preparation. That looking back and as I reflect back, that experience proved to me the veracity of the saying, preparation matters. Before a journey, we remember our phones, we remember our chargers, perhaps our snacks. But do we ever really prepare for the unexpected? To make sure that the car is ready, to have emergency supplies, to think about what we will do if something goes wrong? Preparation doesn't stop life's surprises. Our car still broke down, the elephant still appeared, but preparations gives us options. And that day, ladies and gentlemen, I got to learn something else. Stay calm, but stay aware. My dad stayed calm enough to look for help, but he was also wise enough to recognize when the situation had changed. Sometimes courage isn't about standing your ground. It's also about knowing when it is time to get back in the car. Life will always put unexpected elephants in our path, and we can't control when they appear, but we can control how prepared we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Tantare. To introduce our next speaker is Leah Musunga, who will be evaluating Hasina. Our next speaker after Hasina will be Malaki. Over to you, Leah.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. And Hasina is presenting from the project evaluation and feedback, and she's giving the second speech. So she was already evaluated. So what I'll be looking out for is to see if whether she engages more with with her gestures, and if she also infuses her speech with vocal variation, and also to ensure that she also has a clear call to action, which is refined. This is the feedback she was given from the first speech. So that is what I'll be looking out for in terms of what she's supposed to work on. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. The Height of Authority by Hasina Hamdani. Hasina Hamdani, The Height of Authority.
A patient limped into my clinic, holding her high heels. I said, "Why wear them if they hurt you?" And she said, "Because with flat, I look like an assistant." Intrigued, I asked the same question to two of our team members. One said, "Without them, I look grumpy." And another just shrugged and said, "It is just what is expected." Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guest. Why women have to elevate their heels to prove their authority, to show that they are authoritarian? And what if they don't? Do they look like less? Nicola Thorpe in 2015, she arrived for her receptionist duty in London as a first day she joined, and she was told to wear heels. She said, Male receptionist is wearing flat, comfortable shoes. Why different dress code? She refused. She was sent back home. She started a petition, and that petition changed the discriminatory dress code across the UK, and the ripple felt all over the world. One woman, one question, one change. Yet the unwritten rule book is still alive. The invisible assumption, flat won't look good in this dress, flat will not give us a professional look, is still alive. And that assumptions give pressures to the woman. As a clinician, I see the impact every day in my clinic. Women in their 50s, they come with the knees already worn out, their spines, back persistent, their ankles, they are unstable. Even a modest heel can change how our body balances. Year after year, we see many women, they trade their long-term health for short-term acceptance. And this assumption, it's not just for heels, it is how we define authority. The definition of authority is so deeply ingrained in us that even our recent technology reflect it. I was preparing for a conference, asked AI tool to write a speaker's profile for me. And it wrote, Dr. Hamdani, he has. AI just assumed that the expert is a man. And it didn't inherit itself, it learned from us. If we want different output, we have to give different input. And that input is started appearing, fortunately. Let me share with you a moment in a Pakistani drama. Bride and groom, they were about to go for the wedding reception. Bride was teetering on her high heels, and suddenly, snap, heel broke. She was froze, embarrassed. Groom looked at her. He walked to his closet and came with 2 pairs of hiking boots. The bride looked at him. With this dress? He smiled. He kicked off his formal shoes, slid on his hiking boot, and then helped her lace her shoes. Both of them held their hands together and walked out. Thud, thud, thud. That groom understood that the comfort and dignity mattered more than the rigid expectations. Fellow Toastmasters, true authority doesn't need a lift. It stands firmly on our stable feet. That is the true height of authority. So, what should we do now? I implore everyone, when you hire someone, look for her competence, not the height of the heel. When you write a dress code for any event, write dress with grace, no pain. And when you dress up yourself for any occasion, pause and ask your assumption. Am I getting ready to reflect myself who I am, or because I fear the people will judge me? Professionalism is not a posture. It is a competence, character, contribution. Don't break your legs to prove your mind. Let's build a world where a woman's worth is measured by the depth of her intellect, by the strength of her resolve, and the extent of her dedication. Because the women never by the height of the heel, because the only thing which we have to elevate is the woman herself. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech, Hasina. I'd like to call back Leah Musunga on the virtual stage, who will be introducing our next speaker, Malaki Keredidze. Leah will be evaluating Malaki this evening. Over to you, Leah.
Sorry, just realized I was muted. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Malaki is presenting from the Icebreaker Project. So the purpose of the project is for the member to present their first speech, which is where they'll be introducing themselves to the club and to show that they have learned the basic principles of writing a speech, which is the introduction, the body, and the language. Looking forward to Malaki's speech. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Leah. The Journey in Brief by Malaki Keredidze. Malaki Keredidze, My Journey in Brief.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Malaki, we can't see you. We can't see you. The screen is black.
It's black.
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes, now we can see you.
Okay. Right. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Malaki Keredidze. How do I reduce 50 plus years of my life to 5 minutes? This is a tall order. However, I will take you through my journey from where I was born, primary school, secondary school, and my working life, and why I'm here today. I was born and raised in Serowe, which is in the central district of Botswana. And I started my primary school in Serowe. And basically my education, my entire education from primary to secondary was in Serowe. So that's why I spent most of my growing life. Now, while at primary, basically the joy of primary was just going there to play, have fun, play football every morning before assembly and go to the assembly with dust and dirt and wait for tea break to enjoy our food. Then the idea of learning was not a priority, but priority was just having fun. From there, I moved to junior secondary school, which was Biplos Junior Secondary School. That was at the start of when the community junior secondary school were setting up. On that first day, I got a shock of my life. It was not only me, but all my classmates. First period, an English lady came in. And I was wondering, am I going to survive 30 minutes without speaking Setswana? That was the longest hour because it was the first time I spent that long without Setswana. And I was wondering, am I going to survive secondary school if this is the language that we are going to be required to speak? But fortunately, as nothing is impossible, I survived and moved on to Swanning Hill School, which is senior secondary. And while at Swanning, there's an event that shaped or impacted our life, but in a negative manner. There's this day that us who were staying at home, day scholars, arrived in the morning. Only when I arrived, I realized there's a simmering tension in this school. I couldn't place where the tension is coming from. But later we learned that those who are residing in boarding school, in hostels, had attempted a strike in the morning, and it was started by the authorities. But by tea break, hell broke loose. The basket of bread and tea was spilled over, and the strike erupted. Initially, it was exciting, when we are at school, any opportunity to stay out of school out of class is welcome. It was exciting, and later it got nasty. Students started breaking the windows, were running all over, and the police were called in. SSG came and tear gas were shot, and it was now trouble. We ran all over that bush, all over, and then the following day, it was time to face the consequences. Mind you, we're doing Form 5. This is the third term. We're supposed to prepare for the exams. We had not finished syllabus. The whole school was suspended for 2 weeks. And during those years, we only touched books when we were at school. When we left school, we didn't touch books. So you can imagine with that culture, that year, when we completed, most of us seriously failed our examinations. And the effects of that strike, we still feel it today, because most of our colleagues who we knew would have passed could not proceed beyond secondary education. And you can imagine the networks that we could be having. We don't have that because of that fateful strike that day. From there, as it was the norm during those years that when you complete Form 5, you'll go and serve at national service. I want to serve my national service in Buka village. It was a very rural village at the time. That's where I learned village governance and government structures. And I served at the primary school, at the clinic, at the court as court clerk, at veterinary assistant, supporting veterinary assistant, supporting the social community development officer. So I was moving around all these officers and learning their roles before I could now decide whether I'm going to work or go to tertiary. But as my decision was that no, I'm not going to go straight to tertiary, I applied for work at Swadesh Botswana, where we were one of the first employees of Swadesh Botswana to set up the sewer town. And later I joined BTC, and one of my interests as in the past was that I decided I need to learn something new every year. And that's when I saw an advert for Toastmasters, which I joined. I was a member for some time and then I left. But now I'm back. I want to refine my speaking skills, and I'm looking forward to your support in this endeavor. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you for that speech, Malaki. Now, to introduce our next speaker, I invite on the virtual stage Hasina Hamdani to share her expectations with Barnabas. Over to you, Hasina.
Hello, good evening again. It is my pleasure to introduce, to evaluate today Barnabas Morake. He is doing his presentation mastery level 2 project title Understanding Your Communication Style. So Barnabas, I'm going to evaluate you he is supposed to present a speech that will tell us about her familiarity with the communication style and his preferred style. At the same time, how his communication style impact the others. So I would like to see, I will evaluate you on those basis, that how efficiently you tell us about different communication style, and we would like to know your primary style for the communication. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Hasina. Are we a nation in turmoil? Barnabas Morake. Barnabas Morake, are we a nation in turmoil?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. The veracity of our House of Chiefs needs to be admired. In one of their sessions, they brought a legislation to make deoxyribonucleic acid testing mandatory. Can anyone unmute and give a try to this way? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Anyone?
DNA.
No, the full word. Anyway,
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
yes, thank you very much. The word is usually used for DNA. The House wants to make this mandatory. So what I came across this topic onto my film when the presenter was asking, are we a nation in turmoil? If we are expected to do DNA testing mandatory, have you lost our moral upright? Are we a moral nation that we have reached this stage where we want to make this testing mandatory? Of course, there's evidence. A report showed that 70% of fathers are raising children which are not that biological theirs. Although the veracity of this report cannot be verified, it gave momentum to the House of Chiefs. It also gained debate in the public. In the radio and across social media, there were many comments for and against this testing. I've picked 5 of those among many others that were circulating. The first one was men should also be, after making this testing mandatory, men should also be forced to marry a woman once they impregnate them. You can guess which gender that comment came from. Another comment, the second one, spoke about In fact, it was a comment that was typed on Facebook. Women have started sweating now, and there were 3 smiley emojis at the end. Again, you can guess which gender that comment might have come from. The other one, the third comment spoke about how can this test take place when the runaway fathers will be nowhere to be found. Again, you can guess which gender that comment might have come from. But there were those who were a voice of reason, who said, this is a welcome development as long as government is not expected to bear the burden of the cost. Just when I thought I've seen it all, I stumbled across my personal favorite, which said, we should start with the House of Chiefs, this testing, because we are being led by children of a headman. Wow. That was controversial. Very controversial. This disagreement on this topic is what psychologists define as moral foundation theory. That explains that when people are debating or having a difficult conversation, their emotions and moral reasons become heated. Now I reflected on those comments. So this theory made everything come together. Personally, I sit on the fence as far as where I stand on this issue. But I did a little research and digging. Those on the agreement side, the proponents of the legislation raised 2 main points among the main I found. And those also on the opposition side also raised another 2 points. Those who agree with the motion believe that every child believes that the testing secures the child's rights. They believe that each child deserves to know their biological lineage as well as the ancestors. Fair enough. The second point they raised was that it prevents paternity fraud. That means that to avoid men being coerced to financially supporting children that are not theirs. Those, on the other hand, on the opposing hand, also raised 1 or 2 points that I picked. There are many. They do not agree with this legislation because they believe it will invade the privacy and ethics of the child. Because subjecting a child to such a test will be a clear violation of their rights and their privacy. Second point they raised, those who on the opposing side. This testing will break up families. They believe that once this testing is made mandatory, families will break up, there will be divorces, gender-based violence will increase. There will be no harmony in families, in communities. It is clear that we are not agreeing on this topic. As seen by the comments of the social media, by the comments in Facebook, by the comments in the radio, it is clear that we do not agree as a nation on this topic. And that brings me to a point where those comments, I was worried about diversity. But there were comments nevertheless. In conclusion, fellow toasters, please engage your conscience and try to locate yourself where you fall in this debate. Thank you.
Thank you for that informative speech, Barnabas. To introduce our final speaker for this evening under the prepared speeches, I would love to call upon Tumelo Mapalala to come through to the virtual stage as she gives her expectations to Matsidiso Tamaki. Tumelo, please join me on the stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of evaluating Toastmaster Matsidiso Tamaki as she pursues her Level 4 Presentation Mastery Pathway project. This project intends to teach her to practice the skills needed to present outside the Toastmasters Club. So she has come all this way to come and display the skills she has learned to present. I look forward to your speech, Toastmaster Matsidiso, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Tumelo. Communication, the skill that changes everything, by Matsidiso Tamaki. Matsidiso Tamaki, communication, the skill that changes everything.
By show of hand, how many of us want to improve our communication skills? By show of hand, how many of us want to improve our communication skills? I believe every hand went up in this room. After all, that is why most of us have joined Toastmasters. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. For years, communication has been placed in the same category as competencies such as being a team player or having a positive attitude. They have been labeled as soft skills and somewhat less important than finance or operations. And by calling communications soft skill, we unintentionally sent a generation of professional the wrong message that it was optional, not something worth investing on the same way as we invest in our technical expertise. And I believe this classification has done so much damage because the truth of the matter is communication is not a soft skill. It is a skill that makes every other skill useful. You can have the sharpest mind in any room, but if you cannot articulate that idea, it will just remain like that, an idea. And also, technical expertise may get you hired, but communication is what will get you promoted. And silence is what will get you overlooked. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you a personal story. Just 2 weeks ago, I interviewed for a higher position here at work. As the interview date approached, my anxiety became so overwhelming. I was so nervous that at some point I experienced diarrhea. And that's how intense my fear was. Thoughts kept racing in my mind. What if I fail? What if I can't articulate myself well? What if I'm not good enough? In fact, this wasn't the first time I felt this way. 4 months earlier, I had applied for another position and I was shortlisted for the oral interview. And immediately I received that email invitation from the recruitment agency. I simply responded and said, "Thank you, but I will not proceed with the interview." The recruitment consultant called me immediately. She tried to persuade me to change my mind, but I simply said, "Thank you, but my decision is final." I had allowed fear to make the decision for me. The same thoughts had come to me with the same interview. But then something in me said, "Girl, this time you are doing it. We are going through with this." So I reached out to my network of friends and mentors who encouraged me and reminded me of what I'm capable of. So the night before the interview, I listened to a podcast that was speaking about imposter syndrome because this thought kept coming into my mind. What if I'm not good enough? So after listening to that podcast, two ideas stuck with me. The first one was visualization. Imagine everything going well. Imagine being successful. Imagine being in that position that you desire, and immediately realize the joy that you will feel. The second idea was called flip the script. Imagine that your closest friend is experiencing exactly the same thing that you are going through. What would you say to them? Would you encourage them and remind them of how capable they are? If you can say that to your best friend, why can't you say it to yourself? That mindset shift changed the way I think. And on the day of the interview, I went in that room like I belonged there. Not because I didn't have fear, but because I didn't allow fear to make the decision for me. And I walked out of that interview very hopeful, knowing that I have done my best. Even if I don't get the job, but I know that I have achieved something great, which is conquering the fear and the voice that was telling me that I'm not enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, public speaking is one of our greatest fears, but do it even if you are afraid. It's not about making progress. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about making progress. So I leave you with this challenge that the veracity of it is that next time fear tells you to stay silent, speak anyway, because every time you speak or you communicate, you become a stronger version of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Masidiso, for that inspiring speech. Let's give one more round of applause to all our prepared speakers this evening. Every speech delivered tonight is another reminder of the power of consistency. I would like to introduce back to the virtual stage Tumelo Mapalala, who will be presenting the Timekeeper's report before we cast our votes. Tumelo, please come through.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Zoom Master, please spotlight me. Yes. For my timekeeper's report for the prepared speeches, Malaki, who was to be our first speaker, had an icebreaker. He spoke for 7 minutes, 28 seconds. Our second speaker, Semi Malapela, spoke for 2 minutes, 28 seconds, which was below time. He had a slot of 4 to 6 minutes. Ola spoke for 7 minutes, 10 seconds. Tandiwe, 5 minutes, 49 seconds. Hasina, 7 minutes, 3 seconds. Barnabas, 7 minutes, 32 seconds. Matidiso, 6 minutes and 24 seconds. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Dumelo. We are now reaching the segment where we now vote for our best effort speaker. The poll will be displayed on your screen, so please choose the best effort speaker in your view. Let's get those votes rolling.
Votes are still coming in. We're at 54%. 77%. %. Please keep those votes coming in. 81%. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. Almost there. Still at 86%. Please keep those votes coming in. I hope we're all able to see the poll on the screen. Okay, 90%. We're almost there. Two more votes to go. Okay, all right. We are good to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Palisa. Thank you everyone for casting your votes. Before I invite our hack master, after that segment will now be the general evaluation. So Leah, please do get ready for that segment. I'd now like to invite onto the virtual stage our hack master for tonight, Tumelo Mapalala, to test just how well we've been listening throughout tonight's meeting. Tumelo, please join me on the virtual stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. May I ask that you unmute and participate during this segment? I've asked you all to unmute. Please indulge me and participate in this segment. As I said, this particular segment is to display our listening skills. I will now run my quick quiz. Who said comfort doesn't grow you?
Malapel.
Yes, correct. Matilda, you aren't allowed to answer. Jokes. Next, what did Ola make for his niece? What did he make or try to make?
Dove, papercraft.
What is it called?
Dove, crane.
Artifact.
What is it called?
It's an origami.
Yes, an
Origami.
origami swan.
Eh,
What three things did Ola say perfection often brings instead of what you're thinking? What three things did he say perfection or the attempt at perfecting things often brings? Three things.
Nothing.
Yes, nothing was one. What are the other
Disappointment.
two? Not quite, but it also starts with a D.
Delay.
Delay. What is the other thing? He said perfection often brings pressure. That was the first thing he said. What did Tandiwe see when she looked out the window?
Elephant.
An elephant.
And an elephant, correct. What was Hasina's patient carrying when they walked into her office?
High heels.
Heels.
Yes, a pair of high heels. Which gender was Barnabas talking about?
Women.
And which prestigious group of people did he say that the public said we should start with them?
House of Chiefs.
The House of Ducos, yes, true. Um, Bonus questions. Sorry, I was evaluating Matsidiso, so I had to take notes. What things did Matsidiso learn from the podcast?
Imposter syndrome.
No, from the podcast. She said she learned some techniques to help her deal with the imposter syndrome.
Visualization
Visualization. The other
and
one,
friends.
flip the script. What was the other one? I didn't catch number 3, but I caught those 2. And what did Matsidiso text to the recruiter about that other interview?
That she won't make it.
Yeah, she's gonna pass.
Yeah, she's not doing that. But I'm so proud of her. How many weeks back did she go for that interview where she conquered?
4 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. Thank you so much for helping me with this session. I couldn't time myself, but I hope we didn't go over 3 minutes. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Hackmaster. Indeed, we were listening. We now move into what many consider the heart of Toastmasters, the evaluation session. Constructive feedback is how we grow from good communicators, from good speakers, into exceptional communicators. To lead us through this segment, it is my pleasure to call upon our general evaluator for the night, Miss Leah Musunga. Leah, please come through to the virtual stage.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And as you said, this is the heart of our meeting, as now this is the opportunity for our prepared speakers to receive feedback for their speeches. And that is one of the beauties about Toastmasters, is that people get feedback to help them grow. Now, this feedback is not only just for our speakers, but it's also for you in the audience, as there will be some information that is shared that can also help you grow as you work on your speeches. So listen attentively and pick up some nuggets that maybe you may want to use in your own speech as you also work on your public speaking journey. I would like to invite our first evaluator according to how our speaker spoke this evening. So I would like to invite Tsepo Mahoe to please come to the virtual stage and give us the evaluation for Sammy's speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and most importantly, good evening to you, Semi. Thank you for sharing your icebreaker speech with us tonight. You told us about a man who spent 36 years in the background, comfortable away from the spotlight, but who has now made a conscious decision to step forward and be seen, be heard, and be known. As I evaluate your speech tonight, I'll focus on 3 things you did exceptionally well, 2 areas of improvement, and 1 challenge to help you continue your journey forward from the background to the front. 3 things you excelled on. You looked very comfortable at the front as per your speech. And for someone who was delivering their first speech, you appeared remarkably comfortable on stage. If you had not told us that this was an icebreaker, many of us would not have guessed it. What is interesting is that your speech was about spending 36 years in the background. Yet during your presentation, you looked very calm, composed, and in control. You show that perhaps the person at the front has always been there, and that he just needed a push to step up to the front. Semi, your message was clear and consistent. We could follow how you came from those 36 years where you said you were in the background to how you made the conscious effort to now join Toastmasters and come to the front. You didn't simply tell us about stepping forward, you actually lived it by delivering your speech tonight. Two areas that you may want to improve on. According to the timers report, you were scheduled to speak for 4 to 6 minutes, but you only spoke for 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Next time, try to plan your speech according to the time that is scheduled in the agenda. You were too close to the camera. Next time, check before the meeting that you are positioned well on the camera so that we can appreciate you from most of your body. And one thing you can challenge yourself with is to deliver. I know it's your first speech, but next time challenge yourself by standing up when delivering your speech. Other than that, Semi, you delivered a successful icebreaker. You introduced yourself effectively, communicated a clear message, and show us that you are someone who's ready to step up and step forward and grow. Semi, congratulations on your icebreaker and welcome to the front. Thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Tsapo, for that detailed evaluation of Sami's speech. I'm sure he will be applying the feedback that you have given him in his follow-up speech. At this point, I would like to invite our second evaluator, Palesa, who was evaluating Ola's speech. Palesa.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This evening, I had the pleasure of evaluating Ola Murinda with his speech, Something After Perfection, Nothing to Show for It. Well done to you, Ola, on giving your second speech at Toastmasters. I'm going to give my evaluation in 3 parts. What you did well, what you can improve on or work on, and something for you to challenge yourself. First and foremost, your speech objectives were to give a speech that used vocal variety and body language to enhance it. And you did that wonderfully. In terms of the body language aspect, I liked how you opened the speech with setting the scene about how your niece ran towards you. You literally used the movement of running towards you. And then you also depicted how you picked her up. We were able to see you paint that picture perfectly. In terms of the vocal variety, I believe you were able to set the tone. Although your pitch was a little bit low, you did have voice variety. And this was demonstrated when you said, your niece said, "Uncle, what happened?" You softened your voice, getting into the character of your niece, which was well done, and I applaud you on that. Another thing that I liked about your speech was the fact that you used an anaphora. An anaphora is the deliberate repetition of the same word at the beginning of a sentence to land a point. You said sometimes delay produces blah, blah, blah. And then you said sometimes perfection, blah, blah, blah. Doing something like that holds the audience's attention, and they're able to really be captivated by your message. So well done. to incorporating that into your speech. In terms of things to work on, Ola, I realized that it seemed as though you hadn't properly prepared for your speech. So I'd advise that the next time you deliver your speech, practice it really well so that when you forget how you intend to start or something that you'd like to say, because you have practiced it over and over, you're able to cover that without revealing it to your audience, because it was very clear that there were points where you were taken aback a bit because you had forgotten your lines. Secondly, I would like for you to log on to the meeting 30 minutes before. We usually open the meeting at around 5:30. Log on early to for us to help you position your camera so that you are visible, and that doesn't take time away from you starting your speech. That those few seconds before your speech were a bit distracting, so it would have been great for you to start before that. And then in terms of challenging yourself, that's it. Just join the meeting 30 minutes early to position yourself, and I believe your next speech will be amazing. Thank you very much. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Palesa, for that detailed evaluation of Ola's speech. Definitely noted the aspects regarding Zoom. I think I'll speak more to that in the GE report. Next, I would like to invite Dumelo Mapalala, who was evaluating Tandiwe.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Good evening, Gaborone Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters and guests, and most especially good evening to you, Tandiwe Lutolo. I loved your speech when preparation meets the unexpected. Congratulations for learning the elements of vocal variety and body language. My evaluation will take a simple format of 3 things you did well, 2 things you may want to work on, and 1 way to challenge yourself. Firstly, you excelled at a perfect structure, or the typical Toastmaster structure, with a lovely opening, a body where you told us a story, and a purposeful closing where you had a call to action to ask us to prepare for the unexpected. The other thing you did well was that you had purposeful hand gestures. You moved into the stage and utilized your stage, and also used your hands to emphasize what you were saying. In terms of vocal variety, the third thing you did well was that you used the voice of despair when you said a huge elephant, and you said that Papa tsena mo koloing. You took advantage of that to elevate the pitch of your voice. The 2 things I think you may want to work on, however, are unintentional body language. In the same way that you used your hands, at times your hands didn't exactly communicate your message, which is where you should have at least relaxed them at the side and only brought them in when emphasizing. The other thing you may want to work on from my observation was that you did not apply pauses. Pauses are also an element of vocal variety, which allows your point to land and for you to emphasize certain parts of your speech. For example, you said a huge elephant. You could have said a huge elephant. That in itself is emphasis, and it's an element of vocal variety. The one way I think you may want, one way to challenge yourself, Tandiwe, is to deliver your speech whilst standing in front of a mirror. This will help you appreciate what your natural body language looks like and what you may do without actually being aware. And that will help you to deal or to cope better with the unintentional body language. In summary, the 3 things you did well: you adhered to the Toastmasters, or the universal structure of a speech, you use purposeful hand gestures, and you changed your voices to elevate or to show your emotions. The 2 things I think you may want to work on are unintentional body language and adding pauses and emphasis as elements of vocal variety. One way to challenge yourself is practice in front of a mirror. See how you move, become conscious of how you move, and use it to elevate your speech further. Thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Tumelo, for that. And we'll now move on to the evaluation of our, I think it was the fourth speaker, but it was Hasina. And that was done by myself. So I'll get right into it. Don't break your legs to prove your mind. Thank you so much, Hasina, for presenting your speech today. It was very clear that the speech that you were given was an informative type of speech, because you were definitely letting us know about some of the dangers of wearing high heels. In terms of what I was supposed to look out for in your speech, because this was a feedback and evaluation, you did receive feedback, was to ensure that you did engage with meaningful gestures, you had a clear call to order, and you infused vocal variation. So in terms of engaging with gestures which were more meaningful, I did definitely pick up from your speech today that you did incorporate gestures within your speech that definitely aided to what you were speaking about. You showed us the person holding the shoes, and there were other gestures that you also applied within your speech that were very meaningful and purposeful to your speech. And I definitely must say your call to order did come out really clear towards the end of your speech in terms of what you are wanting us to do in terms of maybe of changing of behavior. So you gave us a very clear call to order in terms of not being judged so much by wearing the heels, but being judged by what is actually in the minds. So obviously focusing on women. So in terms of just infusing vocal variation, I did notice you added some variation, but I would have loved for you to actually even add more characters to your speech, as it could actually, it also enhances in terms of your vocal variation. So in terms of what was previously given as feedback, I think you have definitely met the requirements in terms of applying that feedback to your second speech. So you have achieved the objective of your second speech. I think maybe the only thing, again, that I would say in terms of just helping you, again, as you present your follow-up speeches, as you continue in your speaking, is just be mindful when it comes to vocal variations. It's nice to add characters because they also aid to the variations of your stories, and sometimes also just to pause to let your audience think, especially when you have shared a specific point. That is also part of vocal variation, purposeful pauses within a speech. Other than that, well done in meeting your speech objectives. Looking forward to you presenting your next speeches. And with that is the end of Hasina's evaluation. And I'll now move on to the evaluation for Malaki, who was presenting his first speech from the Icebreaker Project. How do you put 50 years of a life into 5 minutes? Obviously, presenting an icebreaker speech is a momentous moment in Toastmasters because you have taken that step in your Toastmasters journey, even though you did share that you were once a Toastmaster and you have come back to resharpen your skills. That was very amazing to hear. And even for people maybe who are new, to know that sometimes our public speaking skills can get rusty, and it's always good to go back and practice them. You definitely met the objectives of this speech by introducing yourself to the club for us to get to know you a little bit better. You told us about where you were born in Sorowe, about your schooling, you doing your national service in Buka. So we really got to know you. And then, of course, you told us also why you are here. So it's very clear that you met the speech objectives of your speech. Well done on that. In terms of what I picked up that you may want to work on is that it looked like when presenting your speech, you were sort of looking on the right of your screen. So I don't know if you had notes there. One suggestion I would give you, especially for online meetings, is that if you're going to use a note as an aid, it's good to put it around your computer screen so that you don't lose focus with the audience, which is basically, yeah, because you're speaking directly to the camera. So be mindful of that. And then, of course, your time. You did speak slightly over time. Of course, in Toastmasters, we always want to make sure we speak within the right time, but you did tell us how do you put 50 years within a specific time limit. But we are, with practice, we're able to ensure that we speak within the required time. So well done once again in introducing yourself to the club. We know a little bit more about you, Malaki. Be mindful when you have notes that you place them in a position that you don't lose focus with your audience, and also just be mindful to ensure that you do speak within the required time. Thank you so much for presenting your speech. Looking forward to you presenting your follow-up speeches as you get started within your Toastmasters journey. With that being said, I would now like to invite Hasina, who was evaluating Barnabas on his speech this evening. Hasina?
Yeah. Good evening once again. And Barnabas, especially to you. Thank you for presenting an engaging and intriguing speech. I would like to give you my feedback in a simple 3, 2, and 1 format. 3 things which you did, which you excelled, 2 things where you want to work on, and 1 to challenge yourself. The first thing which you did the best, the good, excellent, is you engaged your audience as soon as you came on the stage by asking a question. Immediately, audience were engaged, and that it remained continuous. That engagement remains continuously throughout your speech. The second thing you did well was it was well structured. You started with a question, you posed a question, and the debate on the Duma FM, and then it went through all the people in the country. There was a big confusion, different 5 opinions you told us, the proponents and the opponents. It was really engaging, interesting to know the different views, and most of them, they were gender biased, which is obvious. We all think from our point of view. And the third thing, you did use your stage when you were saying about proponents and opponent. You moved on the right and left, which was clear, very good. You were confident. You used some of the hand gestures also. I noticed it was purposeful. Now, 2 things what you should work on is, first, though you used stage, but I would love to see explicitly when you said proponents said these 2 points. The one was that the child have a right to know their ancestors and their pedigree. And second point, you said something, even for the opponents, you said 2 points about the family breakdown and the lot of confusion. Okay, for that side, financial points. So you told us different points, but you could have used your hand gesture explicitly, and you should have moved on that. On one side also, like you could have gone up and forward and backward to tell us that now it is coming on the second point or the third point. It was like we have to be very attentive to hear that where the second point is coming, when the third point is coming. And the second thing, what you should work on is your title. Your title was like, Are we nation in a turmoil? Though it partially it implies it is correct because it created a huge confusion throughout the country, throughout our nation, and there was a lot of debate and confusion. But I would say this is a universal debate, and being a tutor for this sexual and reproductive medicine, we always ask this is the ethical and moral question, and there's no easy answer for it. So, are we nation in a turmoil? I was thinking about something economic, something political, something specific to our country. So that was a bit confusing. Maybe you could have chosen bit different, not exactly saying that what you are going to talk about. We should still be wondering that what your speech would be carrying. But this was bit out of, I don't think that it very well applied to your speech. And the third thing you should challenge yourself is your objective was to tell us about the different communication style and your communication style. I think that we did not get anything about that communication style. So I would challenge you to go on the platform of our Gaborone International Club and Gaborone Toastmaster Club, sorry, International Toastmaster platform, and you must check your objective of the speech. And you have to prepare your speech based on that. Saying that it was a really interesting, intriguing, and especially for me, it was very close to my heart. I really loved it. I could get every word of you and the emotions and the from where these reactions were coming. So it was totally intriguing, interesting. You used word of the day also. It was well structured, and you ended also with a hook. So just by acting, by working more on your stage, use of the stage, and to after you prepare a complete speech, you should see yourself that whether this title is suitable for this. Title is has a very important role for the contest point of view, I'm saying. And third, you have to meet your objective of the speech. Saying that I really enjoyed your speech and want to hear more from you in the coming weeks. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Evaluator, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Hasina, for that. We'll move right along to our final evaluator for the evening, and that's none other than Dumelo, who is evaluating Matidiso. Dumelo?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Let me spotlight myself. Good evening, Gaborone Toastmasters, and most especially good evening to you, Matsidiso Tamaki, who I got to evaluate as you delivered the speech titled Communication, the Skill That Changes Everything. Well done, Matsidiso, on completing that level 4 project, whose objective was basically to show or practice the skills needed to present outside your Toastmasters club. I believe that you have been on this journey for quite some time, and there are several things that you did well from what I observed. You did observe the structure. You opened with a question that engaged your audience. You also continued to tell us a story, which further kept our interest piqued to know and greatly understand where you were taking this speech. You also closed with a call to action to tell us that public speaking may be a fear of ours, but we should conquer it because it will get us very far. You delivered the speech whilst standing, which allowed us to see or take note of your body language. You indeed are becoming a presentation master. The two things I think you may want to work on, however, are your vocal variety. I noted that for the most part, your voice was monotonous from what I heard. And you also did not take advantage of pauses in between your speeches. So it was a continuous flow of words, which may not have landed quite well without effective pauses and emphasis. I also noted that whilst you delivered your speech standing, there was also little body language you could appreciate other than or hand gestures. There was little movement and use of the stage. Perhaps work on that. One way to challenge yourself, Matidiso, is not a favorite of mine, but I believe works quite well. Please try to record yourself whilst delivering your speech so you can hear how you would speak, because this would show you whether you're speaking too fast or too slow and allowed you to appreciate or pause so that you can hear what you're saying more diligently. To challenge yourself, record yourself and try to just mellow down to your normal speaking voice so that you can speed up at some points and slow down extra at others. To summarize, the things you did well were ample. You told us a story, you delivered a well-structured speech with a great, interesting or audience grabbing hook at the beginning and a great close. You also delivered it standing, which allowed us to get or to see your body language. The two things, however, you may want to work on are incorporating pauses and adding intentional body language and stage presence. Challenge yourself by recording yourself so that you can hear how you sound on recording. It's not our favorite thing, but it helps us to just mellow down to say, although I'm nervous, I'll speak at a lower pace. Otherwise, well done, Matidiso, on that beautiful speech. And we are so proud of you for having gone through with the interview. We look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Dumelo, for that. And I'll now move into the reports for the other role players. So I'd like to invite the R counter to the stage to please give us the R counter report. Palesa.
Good evening. I promise this. No, this is not the last time I'm on the stage. Wow. Anyway, I will be giving the I counter this evening. And with that said, okay, Hasina had 3 R's. With Sammy, I did not record any filler words. Well done, Sammy. Ola had 1 1 and 3 R's. Tandiwe, I only heard 1 R. With Malaki, there were 7 A's and 4 Ms. Barnabas, I did not record any filler words. That's probably because I was too captivated by his speech. And then Matsiriso, I only picked up 2 Ms. That is the ein counter report. Thank you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Palesa. Then we'll move on to our grammarian report. Hasina, if you could give us the grammarian report.
Hello. Yes. Thank you. So I'm quite glad to do a role of grammarian today. Actually, initially I was thinking veracity hardly anyone will use, but congratulations. I have heard this word more than 7 times. It was used by Thandiwe 2 times. Seppo used once. Semi used once. Ola, no. Then Barnabas used 2 times. And maybe I missed one. Barnabas used 3 times. So it was used, and it was used appropriately. I was a bit confused earlier for adjective and adverb. So adjective was voracious and adverb is voraciously. Now, our meeting started with a very good quote. Success is the product of daily habit. It was used by Chandada, our Toastmaster of the day from Atomic Habits. Semi used 1,000 miles start with a single step. Lack of appetite. There were few other good words were used. Squint. Palesa used very strong vocabulary. Captivating. She uses different words. And she also explained about the anaphora, which was used by Ola. So I'm not repeating that. And yeah, that is it. That's my grammarian report. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Hasina, for being our language police for the evening. So I will just share the GE report and then call the timer afterwards. So I'll be very brief, since I can see with time. And obviously, a meeting doesn't just happen when we come here on a Tuesday. It starts being planned a week or two in advance. So there is a WhatsApp group that Gaborone Toastmasters utilizes to plan the upcoming meetings, and that was all done starting a few weeks ago. The agenda was shared this afternoon, so that's great. Then speakers at least know when they would be speaking. And then obviously the meeting at 6 o'clock promptly, it did start. There were people available helping other people to ensure that the audio and videos were fine. So I think for me, that would be one of the main things I would want to focus on for this particular meeting, is to encourage, if you know you're going to be speaking, especially for online, that you do log in early. It has been stated that the meeting room does open 30 minutes before the start time, just to test your video and to test your audio to make sure that you are properly aligned. And then obviously, because our meetings are in Zoom online, you want to make sure that you are speaking directly to the audience. And for you to speak directly to the audience online, you're speaking directly to the lens. So it's very useful to come in before time so that you can practice that, making sure that your eye line is exactly with the lens of your camera. And if it also means that you need to remove your Zoom background because it's distracting and maybe you're blending into it, as you can see, sometimes I blend into it, then that is the time appropriately when people can assist speakers to ensure that when you do eventually present your speech, that you come off, at least from the Zoom perspective point, that all that has already been solved and set up so that we can also enjoy your speech. So that is the main thing I think I would just say as an encouragement to all the speakers as we start this brand new Toastmasters year. With that being said, well done, Gaborone Toastmasters, on having a great meeting. So many speakers on their agendas from different levels. And this is what we always want to see when we come to Toastmasters meeting, is the variety of the speeches and how one can progress from a beginner level all the way to advanced speakers. At this point, I would like to invite the timer to please come and give us the timing for our evaluators and our other role players.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. Our evaluator spoke as follows. Tepo for Semi's speech spoke for 3 minutes 40 seconds. Palisa, whilst evaluating Ola, spoke for 3 minutes 20 seconds. I spoke for 2 minutes 55 seconds evaluating Tandiwe. Leah evaluating Hasina spoke for 2 minutes 49 seconds. And Leah again evaluating Malaki spoke for 2 minutes 21 seconds. Hasina spoke for 6 minutes 24 seconds, which was an icebreaker speech. And lastly, I spoke for 3 minutes 27 seconds while evaluating Matidiso. Our role players, the counter Palisa, spoke for 1 minute 7 seconds. Our grammarian Hasina spoke for 1 minute 58 seconds. And our general evaluator spoke for 2 minutes 32 seconds. Thank you, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. And I just realized we didn't launch the poll for the best evaluator. So Madam Zoom Master, if you can just, I don't know if we have time to launch the poll for best evaluator. Otherwise, I'm supposed to now hand back to the president, maybe to engage one or two of our members. I don't know if we have time to launch the poll for best evaluator. And
Yes, we do.
okay, yeah, and then you can take
launch
over as we are voting.
Lovely. I believe it has been launched. Please confirm that you are able to view it on your side.
Yes.
Perfect. Please do vote. 29%. Going once. Going twice. Okay, I see. There we go. Going 3 times. Right. I'm ending the poll. I believe majority of us have voted, so kudos to you. Thank you so much. Right. Madam GE, did you hand over to me?
Yes, I did. Okay.
All right, lovely. Oops. All right. Fellow Toastmasters and guests that we have on the call this evening, thank you very much for your attention this evening. It was a great first meeting of the Toastmasters year. And to our icebreakers this evening, congratulations on taking that first step to becoming a great public speaker. Please continue on the journey. As our theme suggests, the power of consistency. So please, I advise you to continue with this journey to become consistent in your Toastmasters journey. And to our guests, we will stay on the call a bit longer. After this, if you have any questions regarding our club, Toastmasters in general, we are available to answer any questions that you may have. We will also drop our Vice President of Membership's contact in the chat in case you want to get a hold of her, in case you want to become a member, and. So with that said, we have come to the end of the meeting and I would like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you and good night. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. If there are any guests on the call, this is your opportunity to engage with us. If you have any questions, any points of clarity.
Madam
Chanda, please.
President, we voted.
Woo! Thanks, ma'am. I believe since I've adjourned the meeting, it's over. We'll try again next time. Okay, I see a guest on the call. Atang, hi Atang, how are you? Atang.
I'm good.
Are you a guest or a visiting Toastmaster?
I am, I guess it was my first time attending.
Okay. What did you think of our meeting? How did you find the meeting?
Very informative, very exciting. Looking forward to learn more.
Okay. I thought you were going to say looking forward to becoming a member.
Yes, as well as
Looking forward to become a member.
Okay, we will hold you to that. Next time you join, we're going to ask you, how far? How far? I'm glad you enjoyed the meeting. Thank you for
Definitely
joining
do ask me. Thank you.
us. Sure.
Sharp, sharp.
Sharp. Good night. It's just Toastmasters left on the call.
Bye.
Good night.
Madam Perez, thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good night.
All right. Great first meeting.
Woo!
We live and learn. You see the
Oh,
spotlighting, the work. You 100% focus.
Behind the
That's
scenes is a lot of work.
a mouse. I don't know how you people manage it going like this.
That was me the entire time. Right before I spotlight Mela has done it or you have done it, I'm like, yo, okay. Good
Anybody you
night,
see,
Zohan.
Burgess, Estelle, they are holding a mouse, going like this, quick, quick, quick.
Okay.
Yeah, you
So
you
do I
can't.
invest in a mouse? Do I invest in a mouse or renew my membership in July?
No, just get a
Big
mouse.
question.
Less than $100. Less than. Hey,
Yeah.
if you renew in July, you get a T-shirt.
I want that t-shirt, but I don't think I'm going to renew in July. I want that t-shirt.
No, then renew in July, get a T-shirt. They're
This
only
economy,
100.
there's no mind. Hi. There's no mind.
We'll be releasing another poster tomorrow. I was told to refine the terms and conditions. I was being told, what if I renew in my 3 clubs? Do I get 3 T-shirts? I was like,
Oh,
I didn't think
wow.
of
Wow.
that. That's
And do
Brighton
they
and
get
Devon.
3 t-shirts?
Because you have renewed technically for 3 clubs.
I
I
get
think
it.
it's only makes sense. We should give them.
Yeah,
I'll be
agreed.
very generous. Yes, I'll be very generous.
Hello, Madam VPE. How was today?
don't even talk about it. Hey,
So,
I had a day and a half.
changing the agenda.
I think I might have changed it 10 times.
Yes, that's what happens. So I was going to tell you, just be mindful of the alignments. So if you look at your agenda, if you look at where you have gen your evaluators, can you see that there's so much space? You could have actually moved the time so that there's someone whose speech is Tandiwe's speech doesn't go into 4 lines. Like her block, it doesn't go into 4 lines, that it sticks to 3 lines. Whatever the thingy, the project and the speech. So if you had
Move towards the column towards the names.
yes, you see the evaluators, you see the evaluator column, that there's even space. Can you see that? So you need
No, I
to
see what
push
you mean.
the name. Huh?
Yes, yes.
And then, yeah, you push the time so that you just maintain 3 lines. Then it doesn't push your agenda so much to the second page.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, those are just some of the things.
Yeah.
You realize like, oh, I can actually adjust it like this so that yeah.
But even though our speakers dropped off, still we are able to get 8 speakers. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It was only that I was doing it for the first time.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm thinking we have so many speakers, even though I've seen the new agenda has already been shared. Like we need to really engage our members to take up roles
Yeah.
and stop wearing double hats, especially for these roles like accountant. They
Yeah,
can do
timer
that.
and all that. Yeah.
Hack master. The new people should be able to do things so that the older members can focus maybe on being evaluators.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe tomorrow, just engage engage with, especially with the new members. Have you gone to Basecamp and gotten the list of the members?
I haven't. Okay, let me
You
write
haven't?
that down.
Yeah, because
I'll show
you
you
just
where
have
you
to go
can
to,
get it out.
Okay.
just show her Basecamp, get the list of the members, then she has access to all their contact details, and then
Yeah.
and maybe Palisa, what you can do, which I forgot to do, remove the people who haven't renewed from the
From
Gaborone
the group,
Toastmasters.
right? Yeah.
Send
I
a
want to
message
do
to
that.
say, oh yeah, we're now in a brand new year. Thank you so much. I don't know if you'll be renewing, if you're not renewing, but yeah, we are trying to clean up our group with the paid up members.
Okay.
So we'll see if you let us know if you want to come back, if you want to
Okay.
reinstate your membership. Yeah, because
Okay.
like people who are just sitting there, they are not even members anymore.
Yeah, I've started to just reach out to some of the members. I did so yesterday, just saying hi. Well, let me see the message that I sent to Katlego. I was like, hi, I hope you're well. Haven't seen you at the meetings for a while. Is everything okay? So yeah, some blue tick me obviously, but some have responded.
You know the deal of these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Tabo is about to learn that deal very much hard.
What
Blue
deal?
tick.
The blue tick
Of blue ticking, people not responding to your messages when you're on a deadline.
Yeah, hush.
Yeah, no,
All
but thank
right.
you so much. Thanks, Leah. Hey,
Yes.
Ma, you're the real MVP behind the scenes. What? No. When Timela's
Welcome
complaining about timer, I'm like, even Timela can complain.
Yeah, I think that one is just the worst when you're doing timing.
And I've taken it up next meeting. My goodness. Oh, Lord help me.
It's good. It's good practice because that's the only way we learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, never again.
You say never again. That's the only way you learn.
I couldn't even write my questions for Hack Master. And then I couldn't even listen to the speeches. It was too much. I'm never wearing many hats. From now on, I'm giving speeches. You guys will time and evaluate me. I'm not doing anything.
No,
It was a
you
lot.
know,
Master timer.
who's this?
Never again.
Who's this? Yonella told me she started the club and all the members wanted to do was give speeches. They didn't want to take up roles. They didn't want to be evaluators. They didn't want to be anything. So when you're saying that to Melo, you're reminding me, and then that club died because they didn't want to do anything. They said, me, I came to give a speech. Find timers and evaluators. We're not going to do those things.
Wow.
But there's people in our club that do that.
They
There's
just
people who've never played roles. They just book speeches. I'll give
No,
an
that's-
example. I never seen Dapiwa playing roles.
We're giving her a role next time. We're giving her a role.
Yeah, it's because you don't. So
And
you have
she
to
didn't
reach out.
show up after she begged me for a slot today. She begged me for a slot yesterday, and Dapiwa, and then she didn't pitch.
Oh, that's why she's on the agenda again.
Yes, she didn't pitch.
Are you sure?
I should have spoken. I need to. Online, no. It's either she's
Oh,
giving
you're
a
saying
speech.
online.
Yes, in person she has no choice. I can we never have people. Even there, I don't remember her really taking up a role. I don't remember.
Okay, I'm looking at the agenda. On the 30th of June, she was the grammarian. She has taken up a role. I know I've seen her. Yeah, I know I have seen her. So she's one of the people who's about to finish level 1, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so example, those are the people you should be mindful of. So like you see Hasina, she just did speech number 2. So you should make sure she updates on Basecamp. So you can approve the level completion.
Okay.
Yeah. So people who are finishing off the level, so you are just looking at the agenda to see. So like right now, Barnabas is in level 2. He's left with 2 more speeches to finish level 2. So make sure that he does that by the end of August.
And he will. That one, he will.
So you just be seeing like the people who are
Is
moving
Bunny
Nigeria.
ever playing a role?
Evaluate. No, he's only ever evaluated. But yeah, we can give him a role actually.
I think he has signed himself for a speech, if I'm not mistaken.
He's going for a role. He's going for a
Or,
role.
or maybe he's repeating his speech or something.
Yeah, we'll find out. But yeah, at
Yeah.
some point I have to just play around with it and assign people roles, especially if people are so willing to give speeches, then they're available. So they'll do a role instead.
So yeah, and then of course just reaching out, especially to the people who we haven't seen in a long
Yeah.
time. We have
Yeah.
a list of 40 something members. Those people need to come and take up roles.
Gosh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'll start by so the message that you said I should send Leah, I'll just send it to the main group, right? That I'm removing them from the
Yes,
thing.
yeah, in that group, the Gaborone Toastmasters group, and tell them you're only leaving the paid members in that group.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I'll do that.
All right, guys. Hey, I still have
All
work to
right.
do. Toastmasters work.
Hasina is asking me to talk to Barnabas to check if he got offended by what she said.
That's rough.
Because I was
Big
telling her
boy.
I agree with her. I agree with her that he didn't exactly talk
Do the
about his
speech
communication.
objective. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Which,
but I was telling her, yeah,
you're
I
telling
was saying I wouldn't have necessarily said this title was wrong. I would have said it should have come through in the speech so that we
Whoa.
understood why the choice of the title. So now she's
Eh,
thinking maybe she said it
she was too
wrong.
harsh. Ish.
Yes. Eish. Yeah, ne?